All I can say is, wow, what a hard act to follow. Yeah. I'm going to ask for a rebate on my attendance fee for having to follow that. Before I start with this, a couple of short presentations, I guarantee you I won't take the hour and 45 minutes that is allocated. I'd like to extend the comments that David made yesterday about archiving, you know, DVDs and so forth. There's really two purposes that I see that are extensions of, quote, archiving, and archiving has a certain definition, and I think sometimes we extend it to other things. I think of archiving as saving something forever, okay, for future generations, for family. It's not going to be changed. I may make a copy of it, but it is there. It's not to be changed. If you're in the video business and you're delivering things to people out there, it might be a corporate client or something, you may need to change it. And in that case, you may be saving either the source material or the source edit in a fashion so that you can bring it back in and re-edit it, make changes. In that case, you're not just making a copy, you're bringing it up, and you don't want a generation loss, if you will, like we used to have with VHS tapes, of quality. You'd like to have the thing that you're re-editing be of the same quality that you were editing before you put it on a DVD. So there's a difference. A DVD transforms our digital video into a new form, MPEG-2 digital video, that's more compressed depending on what our bit rates that we use for that writing. And in effect, there's a generation loss. It's slight. I mean, DVDs look good, but there's a slight loss. So when you bring that back in and re-edit it, put it back on the DVD, there's another slight loss. So DVDs are good for archiving, long-term, copying. They're not necessarily the best for saving to re-edit later. So I just wanted to make that distinction. Because David was talking about how good DVDs are at archiving, not how good they are for saving for re-edit. Okay, somebody can hit that top. Oops. Sorry. No, that's okay. What I have on this particular DVD are a couple of short presentations on kind of how to better use your Casablanca.
Is there audio here, Carroll?
Huh?
Is there audio coming?
Yeah, there's audio. If it ever lights up. Yeah, it's coming.
Well, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
Yeah, except I don't have any video, so let's get the video on. Yeah. I get the projector on first. Somebody needs to get a new operator around here.
There it goes.
Well, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
There we go. By the way, I might talk about the menu for a second, following up on what Bertie was talking about. This particular menu was built with Border X, the 4 panels. I did some flipping and flopping to get 4 panels and added in the pictures later. Also, I've got 2 programs today. One is on HDV productions and how you can distribute those to customers today before the Blu-ray and the HD DVD systems come into general use. I know besides, Gary's got an HD camera back there. How many out here besides me and Gary have an HD camera? Are you using it in your business at all? I mean, even delivering DV but collecting HDV? Okay. The other program is sort of a follow-on to what Chet's been talking about, things like disk transfer. He was telling you how to use them. I've got a little presentation on kind of when best to use them, on transferring files to and from the Casablanca. And so I think I'm going to look at the first one, the to from the Casablanca first. Which is the file transfers. By the way, this really has no audio. I'm just going to be talking to the briefing. We really have 4 methods to transfer files: PC link, USB, FireWire, Ethernet for those people that have an Ethernet connection on their system. And finally, we have disk transfer, which we've talked a lot about today. Now, what I'd like to do is to talk about each one of those individually, discuss the pros and cons of each, and I have my own recommendation about each one of them. If we look at first at the PC Link USB, the pros are it can transfer video, audio, or graphics, JPEGs, for example. It's got an alpha channel capability, so if you've got target files that have an alpha channel, you can bring that over with it. You can actually edit the picture size that you're transmitting over before you transmit it over. It works basically with any PC. Now it's got some cons. First of all, it's a PC only. We begged Jorg to do Macs, and he said Macs are dead. You don't need that. We never got it. You have to have disk transfer. I mean, the PC Link USB software, which is provided when you buy PC Link. You need a special USB cable. It's got that rat in the middle, swallowed by the anaconda, the little lump in the middle that allows data transfer between the PC and the CASI. It's relatively expensive, $299, and it's slow, real slow. Seconds per frame. So my recommendation for this particular method of transfer between your Casablanca and is forget about it. Okay, let's talk about FireWire. Nearly all of us have FireWire on our PCs, but not all. It's real time, or by that I mean it's real rate. Got a 30-minute video. It'll take 30 minutes to transfer. Audio is included with the video right over the FireWire. Works PC or Mac. All DV format files. It won't handle JPEG unless you convert them to a DV format file. But basically any of the files created by most any program on the PC or Mac will transfer. What are the downsides? You got to have a FireWire CASI, of course, with DV. You've got to have a relatively powerful PC or Mac for FireWire in and out, because it'll drop frames if it's a little too slow and can't handle it. So don't do it with your cheap, non-powerful computer. The PC and Mac obviously need a FireWire port, and you need a suitable Mac or PC program. Windows Movie Maker, iMovie HD, any program on those systems that will output a DV via the FireWire. My recommendation on this is it's really the best when the resources are available. You got the systems close together, you got the right ports and the right software. Okay, let's talk about Ethernet for a minute. The pro is you don't need any extra software on the Casablanca. You do need at least a browser, which everybody obviously has on their PC. And I've used it with Netscape, I've used it with Firefox, I've used it with Safari on the Mac, I've used it with Internet Explorer. So basically any internet browser will work. Video with audio, it works on the PC or Mac. It'll work over a local net within your home or your business. It won't go outside that, but it'll work within that. Or you can hook the cable, the Ethernet cable directly between your PC and Mac or in the Casablanca with a suitable crossover adapter. The local net can be fairly large. I mean, it's just local. It might be from your basement to your garage if you've got Ethernet on your router between those two. So, or in a business, you don't have to worry really about cable length as long as you've got Ethernet connectivity in those two places. Now, it does have some downsides. It's less than real time. It really kind of depends on your local net, but I get at least 2 or 3 times slowdown over my net in the transfers. You do need an Ethernet-equipped chassis. You know, in later versions of the chassis, they came out had the Ethernet port on them, and then with version 3 software, we got the ability to do Ethernet. It won't transfer from the PC every AVI file you can create on the PC. And I'm going to show some of the types and programs that will or won't transfer. Going the other way works 100%. You can transfer from the from the chassis to a PC or Mac every time, as long as you have connectivity or something. One thing you'll note on a PC running Windows XP is every roughly 1.1 gigabytes, you'll get a new file. And so if you got a 4 gigabyte file on the chassis, you'll end up with 4 individual files on the PC. That's not a problem. You can concatenate them. I mean, they're sharply cut, frame precise. You drop them into a PC editing program and line them up, and it plays perfectly. It's just the way the Windows XP file system works. That's the limited file size. Oh, well, let me turn that around. There is a limit on the file size from the PC or Mac going the other way, and I'll talk about that on a couple of charts. Recommendation is very handy for network setups. I use it when it works because I have my chassis on the network and my PC and Mac on the network. So when available, I like to use it, or when it's suitable. Now let's look at some file types. AVI files created by, let me stop that so I can talk about it. Vegas 6 will transfer from the PC to the chassis nearly every time. Occasionally it won't. Vegas 6 Movie Maker, they'll transfer. Mike tells me that the new Tech TriCaster, which creates AVI files, will transfer. I get another head shake here. Okay, the rub comes with Imaginate 2 by Canopus. A raw AVI file that you create with Canopus using Imaginate 2, which is, you know, a competitor, if you will, for Photo Studio 2, so why would you use Imaginate? Some of us already had that, so I use it. It will not transfer as is. However, Canopus has a free DV format converter program that you can download from their website, which, if you run it on these files created here, and you have a type 1 or a type 2 choice, And don't ask me why this works. Type 1 will transfer, Type 2 won't. So you do have a workaround if you're using Imaginate. Windows Movie Maker, free program, will not transfer. QuickTime 7 Pro for the PC, which is a $30 program, will create an appropriate AVI file. Google Earth Pro, which allows you to create AVI files, will not. Camtasia, which is a screenshot program, won't. And finally, the Mac iMovie HD will create a file that'll work. Now let's talk about the problem of file sizes. There's a limitation on the PC, and I haven't checked this on the Mac, so I may be off. This may be a Mac problem, I mean a PC problem. Over about 1.2 gigabytes on the PC, I get this message in my Firefox browser. You probably get another similar message. It just says this connection was reset, go back to jail, do not escape, etc. If it's above about 3 gigabytes, it just sits there, nothing happens. Doesn't say go to jail or anything, it just nothing happens. So I don't, as I say, I have not tried this on the Mac. I don't know if other people have tried on the Mac. I didn't have time to test that particular situation. My recommendation for Ethernet, it needs some work. I mean, it would be nice because it is very good on a local net and handy if it would handle be a little more robust going from the PC to the PC to the Casablanca. The other way is fine. Whoop, excuse me. Wrong button. Okay.
Quick review here.
Yeah. Well, I can chapter ahead on the chapter button. Try the old chapter menu. Review on PC or Ethernet. As I say, it is handy for setups. Okay, disk transfer, which we've talked a lot about today, is a very nice program. You don't need any special software on the PC or Mac other than a DVD player, and obviously you bring that in, and if you got something to read, AVI files are in good shape, but you don't need anything on the Mac to get the AVI file into it. Video with audio, PC or Mac. No limit on separation. I mean, I send a disk to York and he loads it in and we're off and running. So very extensible in distance. It has, as you'll see, more robustness in terms of types of programs that it will accept files from than Ethernet. And what are the cons? Well, obviously you do need the CASI software, which is relatively inexpensive. I think it's a great bargain at the price. It's relatively slow compared to either FireWire or Ethernet, even though Ethernet's slower than FireWire, particularly if you've got a fairly long file. If you've got a 6-second clip, it doesn't take very long to render it and then burn it. If you've got 20 minutes worth of AVI files, then it takes longer to render and burn. And then the files, when you get to the PC, of course, are loaded immediately. Files created in the PC, put on the DVD and taken over to the Casablanca are read from the Casablanca at less than real rate. They're not dumped in immediately. Once again, my recommendation on the disk transfer, it's great for long distance or archive of clips. Now, here's what works and what doesn't work as I tested on disk transfer. PC Vega 6 again works. Imaginate 2 works. And before I found the Canopus file converter, I was using disk transfer to transfer any Imaginate files I had. PC Windows Movie Maker works. QuickTime Pro 7 on the PC works. PC Google Earth Pro doesn't work. It must make some weird AVI file. The AVI file will play in Windows Movie Maker. And iMovie HD files will work. Here's another thing that I found during my test. I was using I have 2 burning programs on my PC. One is Nero Express, which I use to burn software CDs, because Record Now won't burn a successful software CD. I'll give you that tip. But using Nero Express, I couldn't get any of these files to transfer. I switched over to Record Now and got those kind of results. So even there's a something going on with Nero Express that's not happening with Record Now.
Did you try Roxio at all?
No, I don't have it, so I haven't tried it.
Okay.
Be welcome. Somebody to give me. Anybody have any further data than this? I'd love to add it to the database. Now I just did here a comparison of both. Excuse me, Ethernet and disk transfer for each of those for the files that are common to both that I tested. So in summary, once again, I say PC-Link USB is not particularly useful in light of the other methods we have. FireWire is the fastest. Ethernet's the handiest to me. And disk transfer is great for the separation or archiving. And in terms of Ethernet, more robust. So it's a nice program. I'm not sure, Jorg would have to talk about this. I'm not sure they really meant disk transfer to be coming into the Casablanca, although they said it would. I mean, I think it was really meant more for, as a lot of people use it, to archive stuff on, read it back into the Casablanca, as opposed to creating files on the PC and bringing them in. But we all try to do that.
Hey, Carroll, first of all, I'd like to thank you for your extensive tests.
Thanks.
In perfection, by giving me a DVD or giving me how somehow it says
Yeah.
files that do not work.
Yeah.
Because usually I can get my people to fix that.
Right. Yeah, I have.
They would be somehow reluctant to buy all the software by themselves. So order them through purchasing and then test them out.
Sure. Yeah. No, I figured that'd be the case, and I will do that. I just didn't have time. I was getting this ready at the last minute.
Because if you hurry, then maybe you
Yeah.
have this soon enough for Smart Edit 5 release in the US.
Say that again.
So if you hurry, we might have that finished for the Smart Edit 5 release in the US. So that would be really soon.
Right.
Yes, we have made this to be an exchangeable direction. That was the
Yeah. As you recall, during the beta testing we had of Ethernet, I mean, we couldn't hardly transfer anything, and we sent over some files, and they said, "Oh, that's just right there in a header," and fixed it. So they were responsive. I'd like now to switch subjects to something that's a little less mundane, if you will. And that is HDV, which is Jorg and a lot of us see as something really coming faster than probably we thought it was going to come. What I'm talking about here is kind of the future, near future, and what do we do now about distributing HDV products before some of these new fancier things come along. In the future, we know what the future is going to be. It's always good. There is a reality, though, of today, and then I'm going to talk about an interim workflow that kind of couples the future with the reality. Of course, in the future, we're going to edit with SE5 on the Casablanca II, make all these beautiful edits like Jorg showed us, record it to the Blu-ray DVD in the Cassie, and play on the DVD Blu-ray player, and everybody's happy. And the future is getting closer. It's not here yet, but it's getting closer. The Blu-ray burner is now shipping, $995 from Video Guys. There's a little problem that there's no media available, but that's, you know, small detail.
Stick a tape in
Yeah.
there.
And the players are coming. Samsung's got one, $1,000, subject to change. Pioneer, maybe you can read. There's July 06 on the Pioneer. Samsung, June 25th. These are kind of ranked by time of estimated release. Getting further away in the future on these as we go. Sony in August at $1,000. Panasonic, September, no price. Philips, second half of 2006, no pricing on those.
Are they all going to play regular DVDs also?
They're supposed to be backward compatible. No. Okay, what's the reality then? Reality is, here in a month or so, we'll all have SE5 and be edited, and we will record back to the HDV tape and await the future. Or there's another possibility that Jorg will appreciate, and that's record to our HDV recorder and await the future. So what I would like to talk about is something we can do before then and either demonstrate to our customers an HDV capability from DVD, or if they are so inclined, they can acquire the $250 equipment that allows them to play your HDV products in HD. And that looks like this. We transfer our edits by one of those methods. Right now it'd only be FireWire because we don't have disk transfer capability to our PC or Mac and create on those machines either a Windows Media file or an HDV or a movie file, HD, on the Mac. Now, how do we create those files? Well, on the PC, we can use a program like Vegas 6 to turn our M2T files that the output of the Casablanca will have, excuse me, into a Windows Media file. That's one way to do it on the PC. There are other PC programs, as I pointed out, those are just examples. We can put it on a Mac and convert it using FCP 5.1. I haven't tested yet with iMovie HD, which comes with a Mac, whether it I believe it plus QuickTime Pro will allow you to output HD MOV files. So we've created these, and let me make a point here. Why am I converting to these formats instead of using the M2T? Even though the HDV files that come out of our cameras are compressed, they're still not compressed enough to put very much on a DVD. They're about the same bandwidth as digital video, so you know we only get 4.7 gigabytes on a single layer DVD, so you've got to compress it even more to get it on, get a reasonable length program on a DVD. So we create those files and we bring them over here and burn them as data files. They're not a finished, the way I'm going to show you doesn't allow us right now to create a fancy DVD menu except as part of the intro to the DVD edit itself, or the DV edit itself. Now, I put together a table on what kind of times you could expect to get on a standard DVD using this technique. And they really apply to either the Windows Media files or the movie files from a Mac. At an 8 megabit per second data rate, which is sort of the upper limit of DVD's player capability these days, the file size per unit program time is about almost a megabyte per second, which allows you to get single layer 1.4 hours, dual layer 2.5 hours. At 5 megabits per second, you get 2.2 and 4. And if you go down to, I can't even read my numbers there, 2 megabits per second, you can get up to 11 hours. Now, if you've done any testing on these kind of things, 5 megabits per second is about the lowest you should use for 1080 data, and 2 megabits per second is about the lowest you should use for 720 data. And how do I adjust that? You do that in your PC program or your Mac program. I mean, when you're rendering out, you can pick what kind of data rate you have. Do you have a question, Jörg?
No, I just would like to say something about that, because I've been doing a lot of tests with this. And of course, I have access to all these files. And I have to say that, first of all, the data rate that these programs are generating will add lots of artifacting to the HDV video, because the HDV video is already MPEG-2 compressed. And
right.
It has a data rate of 25 megabits per second. It's significantly, very significantly higher than the 8 megabits per second that you can get with these programs.
Right.
What we're thinking, what we want to do is we're updating this transfer. And we also want to add a little player, or maybe just a codec for the Windows Media Player that allows you to play these files directly in your media player.
Mm-hmm.
That has the advantage that you don't need to do any conversion. You can play this back on any PC that is fast enough for the decoding procedure.
Yeah.
And we would also add this on the very same CD-ROM if the user wants that. This means it's public domain. And together with the data, you would get this installation file that will install it on the PC. Disadvantage, we need a PC that has at least, like I would say, 2.8 gigahertz frequency, and also a pretty fast bus access in order to play it. But that, I think, is the only way to really see the brilliance and the resolution of the HDV video. If you use one of these methods, it will work, and it will look better than an NTSC, but it won't look anywhere near as good as the original HDV video.
Okay, I'll show you some. I'll get some samples that I'm going to show. So those two methods, either the MOV or WMV onto the standard DVD, can go to, as Jörg just mentioned, a PC or a Mac, a pretty fast one of each, played back by their DVD player. Microsoft is distributing commercial movies, movies today, in HD using Windows Media format. You have to play them back on a Windows machine. It's got Windows built into it. It won't play back on any other machine. I have a machine here to play Windows Media files, but it won't play those Microsoft movies. And they look very good. I played them on my PC. Or, which is a little different from the PC version, which works only for Windows Media files or M2T files, as I'll show you, is a player made by IO Data. There's one of them right here that costs $250. It'll play standard DVDs just like I've got here, or it will play DVDs with these data files. Windows Media won't play movie files. It'll only play Windows Media files or M2T files. And from that, you output component video right into your HD TV. So corporately, you could, one, you can show this capability to customers, and there would be potential for selling boxes like this. As I say, they're $250 from IO Data. JVC is now selling it under their name with a few additional features for $100 more, but it's fundamentally the same player. And we're all happy now. Okay, what I'd like to do now, I need to flip the lights on just a second. I need to flip the monitor, and then we'll look at some samples.
Carroll, would you make the PowerPoint outline? Would you make those available for us?
I'm sorry?
The PowerPoint that you're using,
Yeah.
will you make that available to us on the internet so that we can download those and
It'd be easier to send you the DVD. I mean, because I did all the transitions and everything and the put together, but I have, I mean,
let's talk about the notes that you had up there, those main things.
they're all in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Mike. I'm not a reseller for this machine, but it's an amazing little device for the $250. It has Ethernet interconnectivity. You can have your PC in Timbuktu and play files from its hard drive with this machine. Software downloads, firmware upgrades via the internet. It's got a thumb drive slot on the front, so you can stick your thumb drive in and do automatic slideshows. Not as good as Photo Studio, but so it's a nice little machine. And as I say, it outputs component video, 3 component, not YC, for playing in your HD TV. One of the reasons they have this internet connectivity and file thing is you might have this in your home theater. Your PC is obviously in your office, and you can have high-def files on your PC played back into your HD TV home theater. So, as I say, what you get when you click on it are a list of the files. And I've got a movie file, and the reason I put that on there was tested. It will not play. Currently, they don't have any codec. They may do that in the future. Let me just show you here's an example. Wait a minute. Excuse me? I need to switch the monitor. Excuse me, I'm not in. I won't be in your way very long.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, let me switch. I need to switch modes on the. Whoop. Yeah. Ah. There we go. Okay, Mike. This little Robotica is a sales intro from Microsoft on WMV, just to give you an idea. By the way, this particular projector is a 1260 by 720, so it's not a full 1920 by 1080 like we were seeing over here on Yard's display. Does a pretty good job, though.
Yep.
So that's a Windows Media file compressed for display. Let me show you. This is one that I put together from local video, so it was shot with a Z1U. I didn't edit it in SE5 because I didn't have SE5. It was edited in Vegas 6 and then compressed in Vegas 6 and then recorded to this.
What's the data rate?
It's about 5 megabits. Runs about 3 minutes, so. It's not all bees, by the way. For those plant lovers, this is a local plant called the night blooming cereus. It's really a cactus, a rather indescript looking cactus that grows up in sticks, and once a year at night it gives this beautiful big blossom that the bees come in and pollinate. I call this the butterfly rape of the flowers because you see that proboscis going down in those flowers. Now I think I have down here a raw file. Let me see if I don't have it on the bottom. No, no. Yeah, there's a raw file number 8 there. This is just a raw MT2 file directly from the camera into the PC and then burned on here. You've seen some of this. Kip Peak. I guess, as I mentioned, the point in all of this is you don't have to wait until Blu-ray and these others to get some high-quality video to customers. Some of you on the email list know Bob Farnsworth is, talking about all the money he's making by selling the future. He's got FX1s, and he's delivering DV edits, but saving the HD and the veg files or the edit list, so that when his customers get HDV capability, he can provide them. And I guess they're paying up front for it, at least to maintain it. So there is a marketplace emerging rapidly. Everybody is buying, if they buy a new TV, it's going to be HD TV. So be prepared. Let's see. This is not done by me, but it's got some local content in it. It's again Kid Peak, but as I say, not by me. Yeah. If you're ever in town long enough, if you're out of town, Kid Peak's a nice place to visit. One, it's cooler in the summer because you're up about 6,000 feet higher than you are here. And it's a very interesting tour.
Is that off the Z1?
I don't know what that's off of. It was not done by me. It's a commercial trailer for a company, so. I kind of suspect it's not. But it's a pretty good test for the Windows Media compression and the playback. Bertie did that.
You don't need a HDV camera, just use your guess.
Little solar eclipse coming up. Okay. I'll be happy to answer any question.
Carol, I have a comment.
Yeah, look like it.
For everyone to know, they may want to take their pens out. I just read this the other day. There's a company in California, out in San Jose. It's called Bella, BELLA-USA. They're the guys who make the color-coded keyboards. They just came out with a brand new product called the Catapult.
Yeah.
The Catapult will take any iPod and allow you to hook in either FireWire or a USB port and transfer digital video from anything into the iPod, and then people can take the iPod home and dump that data into their Mac or PC. So if you're giving them a video file, they can take that video file and then dump it into their PC or Mac and have that video file on their PC or Mac. It's brand new. They showed it today. It's been out.
Yeah, I think Candy's going to be our beta tester on that. She got pretty excited when she saw that. Ooh. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying they created a thing to use iPods because iPods are the ones that everybody seems to have.
I haven't figured out what it is they do, whether it's is a special cable or what. I mean, they do. But it's only $300.
You take a regular FireWire cable, hook it up to your video source. It could be a camera, a playback deck, I guess a computer. You plug it into the unit, and they've got a thing that they plug it into, and something it does that allows the transfer of the data without messing up the synchronization of the iPod to the Mac or to the PC because they're linked together. but you can't see it on the iPod. But you can take that as a transfer unit, go home, hook it into your iMac or iMac or whatever your PC, and download that file into the PC. So it's just another way, since customers have iPods, that you possibly can deliver some type of video from you to them. They take it home, dump it in their PC, voila, now they've got the video on their PC too. So, I don't know.
By the way, one of the reasons for playing this M2T file, this is not as much resolution as this display, and I haven't tried it on there, but on this particular 720 display, I couldn't see significant difference in quality between, you know, that M2T file and the Windows Media files, which are more compressed. I mean, Windows Media does a pretty damn good job of compressing.
Carroll?
Yes?
This machine that you're using right here to play this, it actually plays files?
In this mode where you're playing these high definition files, either the raw DV files off of your out of the Cassie SE5 or your camera, or these Windows Media, it will play. The earlier presentations I made were just regular DVDs. It'll play regular DVDs, you know, and light up.
Will it play disc transfer discs?
I haven't tried it.
That's an AVI.
Yeah, I mean, I see no reason it wouldn't. I just haven't had anybody got a disc transfer disc with them that's got something on it. We'll stick it in.
DT disc. We just had to have one.
Well, you got that more AVI there, I see.
Hi? Yeah, it'll play AVI files. I just never have physically tested a Cassie-generated AVI file, but I'd be very surprised if it didn't.
He's got his fingers crossed.
I bought it directly off the internet from IO Data. Just plug in IO Data into Google and you'll find it.
It's reading. Speaking of Google, did you ever find anything that
Hey, there it is. There's the title.
Yeah, but I kick back. It ought to say pictures. It's not going to read it. Yeah, it kicks back. It ought to go to that pictures movie picture menu.
I don't know for certain if this is type 1 or type 2.
No joy. But I don't think I don't blame that on Casablanca. This particular machine, they put out a firmware update about every 3 months, and something else gets fixed or added and so forth. So it's it won't play movie files, for example. Huh? Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I mean,
Or we can follow up with Carroll and provide
yeah.
that he can verify.
I mean, I can try it at home. I just didn't have. Actually, I didn't think about trying that because I figured they'd play.
Find out if it actually works.
I mean,
Either type or AVI.
I mean, the real purpose of this presentation was delivering HD. It wasn't whether it would read. I mean, other than questions, I'm finished.